You know, Leo, every time we hit record, I get this little spark of excitement because I know someone out there is improving their English with us right now.
Same here, Ella. And hey, if you're listening, stay with us because today's episode is all about building natural English confidence step by step in a fun and interactive way.
Absolutely. And if you're new here, you're listening to English Learning Podcast Every Day, where we help you practice English in a relaxed, friendly, and super motivating way.
Now, let's dive right in with a simple warm-up exercise.
Yeah, let's get the energy flowing. So, if you're listening, repeat after me, but do it with confidence, okay? Say, I am ready to improve my English.
Nice. Now say, I can learn step by step.
And one more, I can speak English every day.
Good job. Repeating out loud really works because it trains your mouth and your brain at the same time.
Exactly. And today, we're practicing intermediate English through natural conversation, examples, and many dialogues, so you can feel like you're right here with us. Speaking of natural English, let's talk about a phrase learners often get confused about, kind of. Leo, give us an example.
Sure. If I say, I'm kind of tired, it doesn't mean I'm completely exhausted. It just means I'm a little tired.
Right, and you can use it in so many everyday situations. For example, I'm kind of hungry, or that movie was kind of interesting.
Okay, listener, your turn. Repeat after me. I'm kind of busy today.
Great, and don't worry, we're just getting started, so stay with us because the more you listen, the more fluent you become.
And remember, your progress matters, even the small steps.
You know, Leo, something our listeners ask all the time is how they can sound more natural when speaking, even if they still make mistakes.
Yeah, and the truth is, sounding natural isn't about being perfect. It's about being comfortable and expressive while you speak. For example, using softeners like maybe, probably, or I guess can make your English sound more relaxed and real.
Exactly. So if someone asks, are you free this evening? You don't always need to answer with a clear yes or no. You could say, I guess I'm free after 8, or maybe I can join you later.
Okay, listener, repeat this one with me. I guess I can do that.
And try this too. Maybe later would be better.
Nice job. These little phrases help you express yourself more naturally and soften your tone, which is common in everyday English.
Another thing that helps is responding with feelings and reactions instead of just giving facts. For example, if someone says, I got a new job, you can respond with, that's awesome, or wow, that sounds exciting, instead of just saying, okay.
Yeah, okay is technically correct, but it doesn't show emotion, and English speakers usually react with some feeling.
Listener, let's practice a tiny reaction dialogue. I'll say something and you respond out loud using an emotion word. Here we go. I passed my driving test.
Hope you said something like, that's great, or congratulations.
Here's another one. I'm traveling next week.
You could respond with, wow, that's exciting, or nice, where are you going?
Good reactions help you sound alive in the conversation, not robotic.
And speaking of reactions, here's a useful phrase, no way. It means you're surprised, in a good or shocked way, depending on your tone.
For example, if Leo says, I ate 6 slices of pizza, I can say, no way.
And trust me, that example is very realistic.
Listener, try it with us. Say, no way, with a surprised tone.
Perfect. Keep repeating these whenever you can, because repetition builds automatic speaking habits.
Something else our listeners often mention is how hard it can be to keep a conversation going, especially when the other person gives short answers.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. One of the easiest ways to keep a conversation alive is by adding a little detail before asking a follow-up question. For example, instead of saying, where do you work, you could say, I've heard you have an interesting job. Where do you work?
That tiny detail makes your question feel more personal and more natural, and it gives the other person more space to share.
Listener, try this structure out loud. Small comment plus question. For example, say, that sounds fun. How often do you do it?
Great. Now try, I've been curious. What do you think about it?
You're doing great. And here's another trick. Use how come instead of why sometimes. Why can feel a little direct or even a bit demanding, but how come sounds lighter and friendlier.
Exactly. For example, if someone says, I didn't go to the party, you could respond with, oh, really? How come?
Listener, repeat that. How come?
Nice. Another helpful tool is giving your opinion even when no one asks for it directly, because conversations grow when you contribute your own thoughts.
Like if someone says, I prefer working at night, you can respond with, interesting. I usually feel more focused in the morning. Adding your own detail helps build connection.
Let's try a mini dialogue to practice this. I'll say something and you respond with your opinion. Here we go. I think learning languages is fun.
Hope you added something like, I agree, it feels rewarding, or, for me, it's challenging but interesting.
Here's another one. I love watching travel videos online.
Maybe you said something like, me too, they inspire me to explore new places, or, I don't watch many, but they look amazing.
The more you practice giving these small opinions, the more confident you'll become in everyday conversations.
And remember, confidence doesn't appear magically. It grows from using your English even when you're not sure it's perfect.
Something that really helps learners move from intermediate to advanced is using small storytelling moments in everyday conversations. You don't need a long story, just a quick moment from your day that adds color to what you're saying.
Exactly. For example, if someone asks, how was your day? You don't have to answer with only good or fine. You could say, it was good. Actually, something funny happened on the bus today.
That tiny detail instantly makes your answer more interesting.
And after that, you only need 1 or 2 sentences to finish the story. Something like, the driver started singing loudly and everyone was laughing. Simple, short, but memorable.
Listener, try this structure out loud. Short answer, tiny story detail. For example, my morning was okay. I spilled my coffee, but it made me laugh.
Great job! Story fragments like that help you sound more natural and confident because you're sharing a bit of your personality.
Another powerful skill is describing your feelings using more than just happy or sad. English has lots of soft, expressive words that make your speech richer. For example, instead of saying, I'm happy, you can say, I'm relieved, I'm excited, or I'm in a really good mood today.
And instead of just, I'm sad, you could say, I'm a bit down, or I'm feeling off today. These sound very natural in conversation.
Listener, repeat this with us. I'm in a good mood today.
Now this one, I'm a bit tired, but I'm okay.
Perfect. Something else that helps is showing curiosity about the other person's feelings, because emotions make conversations deeper.
For example, asking, how did that make you feel? Or were you surprised? Shows that you care and keeps the conversation moving smoothly.
Many learners forget to ask these emotional questions, but they're extremely common in natural English.
Here's a quick practice dialogue. I'll say a situation and you ask an emotional question. I finally finished my assignment.
You could ask something like, were you relieved or did it take you a long time?
Here's another. My friend surprised me with a gift.
Maybe you said something like, that sounds sweet. How did you feel?
These kinds of questions build connection and help your English feel more human and warm.
Something that also helps learners speak more confidently is getting comfortable with hesitation phrases, the little sounds native speakers use when they're thinking. Things like, well, you know, or let me think, make your speech sound natural, not uncertain.
Exactly. A lot of learners think pausing means they're weak at English, but native speakers pause all the time. If someone asks me, what's your favorite childhood memory? I'm not going to answer instantly. I might say, let me think. Probably going fishing with my grandfather.
And that tiny hesitation sounds completely normal. Listener, try this one with us. I'm not sure.
Now try, well, it depends.
Great. These fillers don't make you sound unsure. They make you sound like a real speaker processing your thoughts naturally.
Another useful trick is expanding your answers just a little bit, even if you don't have much to say. Instead of responding with a single word, you add a short detail.
For example, if someone asks, how was the movie? You can say, it was good. The ending surprised me. That's only one extra idea, but it makes your conversation richer.
Or, if someone says, how's your week going? You could reply, pretty good. I've been trying to catch up on sleep.
Listener, repeat this pattern. Short answer plus one detail. Try saying, it was nice. I met some new people.
Awesome.
Another skill that really improves communication is showing small agreements during conversation. These are short expressions that show you're listening and connected.
For example, saying, right, exactly, I see, or that makes sense. These little responses keep conversations flowing and help you sound more engaged.
Let's practice a few. Listener, repeat after me. Exactly.
I get it.
That makes sense.
Perfect. Using these expressions shows the other person that you're actively listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
And the more you use them, the more natural your conversations will feel, especially in English-speaking environments where active listening is super common.
Another thing that can really boost fluency is learning how to express uncertainty politely, because in real conversations, we don't always know the answer immediately. Instead of freezing, you can use natural English phrases that give you time to think without sounding awkward.
One of my favorites is, I'm not totally sure, but, for example, I'm not totally sure, but I think the meeting starts at 3. It sounds natural and confident, even though you're unsure.
Or you can say, as far as I know, which means you're giving the information you have, even if it might not be complete. For example, as far as I know, he's moving next month.
Listener, try this one out loud. As far as I know.
And now try, I'm not totally sure, but.
Perfect. Another helpful phrase is, I'll need to check on that. People use this all the time at work or when they don't remember something immediately.
For example, I'm not sure about the price. I'll need to check on that. It sounds professional and friendly.
Something else that builds natural fluency is reacting with curiosity rather than just answering questions. For example, if someone says, I'm learning guitar, instead of just saying, cool, you could add, oh, nice. How long have you been practicing?
That follow-up question shows genuine interest and opens the door to deeper conversation.
Listener, practice this with us. I'll give a statement and you ask a curious follow-up question. I started a new book yesterday.
You could ask something like, what's it about? Or do you like it so far?
Here's another. I joined a fitness class.
Maybe you asked, what kind of class is it? Or how often do you go?
These small moments of curiosity make conversations much more enjoyable for you and the other person.
Something else many learners don't realize is how powerful tone is. How you say something can completely change the message.
Absolutely. For example, the phrase really can sound excited, confused, annoyed, or interested.
Listener, try saying really in a surprised tone.
Now try it with a curious tone.
And now with a slightly annoyed tone, just a little.
Amazing how the same word changes meaning just with tone.
Another skill that helps conversations feel smoother is learning how to soften your opinions, especially when you disagree with someone. English often uses gentle phrases to make disagreements sound polite and respectful.
One great example is saying, I see what you mean, but. It shows that you're listening, even if your opinion is different.
Or you can say, that's an interesting point. I kind of feel differently, though. It keeps the conversation friendly and open.
Listener, try this with us. I see what you mean, but.
And now say, I feel a bit differently.
Nice work. Another phrase that helps is, from my perspective, because it makes your opinion sound personal, not argumentative.
For example, from my perspective, working early in the morning is easier. It's a soft way of sharing your view.
Tone plays a huge role here, too. If you say something gently, it immediately sounds more respectful, even if you disagree.
Something else that helps learners build natural fluency is giving small compliments during conversations. Compliments make interactions warmer and help build relationships.
They don't need to be big or dramatic. Something simple like, that's a great idea, or you explain things really well, can make the conversation more positive.
Listener, try saying this out loud. That's a good point.
Now try, I like the way you said that.
Great job. Compliments show appreciation and they encourage the other person to share more. Another powerful skill is using vivid adjectives to describe experiences instead of relying on basic words like good or bad. For example, instead of saying a movie was good, you could say it was impressive, touching, or unexpected.
And instead of saying your day was bad, you could say it was exhausting, messy, or stressful. These words add color and detail to your descriptions.
Listener, repeat this with us. The ending was unexpected.
Now try, the day was exhausting.
Fantastic! The more descriptive you become, the more expressive and natural your English sounds. Another thing that boosts fluency is learning how to give short summaries after someone talks to show that you understood them clearly.
For example, if someone says, I've been busy with work and helping my sister move, you could reply with, so you've had a really packed week.
Listener, try summarizing this. I stayed up late finishing a project.
You might say something like, so you didn't get much sleep. That's a great natural summary.
Something else that makes conversations feel more natural is using gentle expressions to show interest, even when you don't have a big reaction. For example, saying, "Oh, really?" or "That's interesting," keeps the flow going without forcing a huge emotional response.
Exactly. These phrases are small, but they show you're paying attention, and they help the other person feel heard, which is a big part of communication.
Listener, try saying this softly. "Oh, really?"
Now try, that's interesting.
Perfect. Another useful tool is learning how to express surprise in different ways, because English speakers react a lot when they're surprised, sometimes big reactions, sometimes small ones.
You can say things like, seriously? Or you're kidding? Or even, no way, that's wild, depending on the situation.
And sometimes the surprise is gentle, like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that."
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Listener, repeat this one with a light, friendly tone. "Oh wow, I didn't know that."
Nice. Another skill that helps you feel more confident is learning how to show understanding when the other person explains something complicated.
You can say things like, "I get what you mean," or "Okay, that's clear now," or "Ah, now I understand." These are super common and very natural. Listener, repeat with us. "That's clearer now."
And this one, I get what you mean.
Great. Another helpful habit is adding little thinking words at the start of your answers. Things like honestly, actually, to be honest, or in my experience. Make your speech more natural and expressive.
For example, instead of saying, it's difficult, you could say, honestly, it's pretty difficult, which sounds more real and conversational.
Or, actually, I enjoy studying in the morning, which adds personality to your answer.
Listener, try this pattern. Honestly, I need a break.
And, actually, I like this idea.
Perfect. These little additions make your English sound full and expressive, not flat or robotic.
Another important part of sounding natural in English is showing small levels of agreement even when you don't completely agree. You can use soft expressions that show you understand the person's point without fully committing to it.
A really common one is, I can see that. It doesn't mean you agree. It just shows you understand their perspective.
Or you can say, "Yeah, I get that," which sounds friendly and open even if you're thinking something different.
Listener, repeat this with us. I can see that.
Now try, "Yeah, I get that."
Nice job. Another natural expression is, that could be true. It shows you're open-minded, not shutting the other person down.
This is especially helpful in discussions where both people have different opinions but still want to keep the conversation polite and relaxed.
Something else that helps make your English more fluid is using contrast words like although, even though, and while. These help you connect ideas smoothly.
For example, "Even though I was tired, I finished my work." It's a simple sentence, but it sounds much more natural than using two separate sentences.
Listener, repeat this one. Even though I was busy, I made time.
Now try, "Although it was raining, I went out."
Great work. Adding contrast words helps you express more complex thoughts, which is a key step in moving to a higher level of fluency.
Another powerful technique is using small time phrases to make your speech flow better. Things like "at the moment," "for now," "lately," and "recently" make your English feel smoother and more detailed.
For example, I've been studying a lot lately. Or, at the moment, I'm focusing on my health. These short phrases immediately make your sentences sound more complete.
Listener, try repeating this. "I've been busy lately."
And this one, at the moment, I'm improving my English.
That's perfect. And honestly, adding small time expressions like these creates a natural rhythm in your speech.
Another technique that helps you sound confident is using suggestion phrases like maybe we could or we might want to. especially in group discussions or planning situations.
For example, maybe we could try something different today, or we might want to check the schedule first. These sound polite and cooperative.
Listener, repeat this suggestion phrase. Maybe we could try it another way.
Now say, we might want to think about it.
Excellent.
Something else that really helps learners feel more natural is using gentle closing phrases when finishing a topic, because conversations don't always jump from one idea to another instantly. Phrases like anyway or by the way help bridge topics smoothly without sounding abrupt.
Exactly. For example, you might say, anyway, it was a good experience. Or, by the way, I forgot to tell you.
These phrases help guide the flow, and native speakers use them all the time.
Listener, try this one. Anyway, it worked out in the end.
Now try, by the way, I have something to share.
Perfect. Another thing that makes your English sound engaging is adding reactions that show warmth, like that's sweet, that's thoughtful, or that must feel nice.
These kinds of empathetic responses create emotional connection, which is a big part of sounding confident and natural.
For example, if someone says they achieved a personal goal, you could say, that must feel amazing. It shows genuine interest.
Listener, repeat this with us. That must feel nice.
And try this one too. That's really thoughtful.
Great job. Another key skill is being able to describe progress instead of just results. Native speakers often talk about ongoing effort using phrases like, I'm working on it, I'm getting better, or I'm making progress.
These phrases show growth, and they're great for motivating yourself too.
Listener, say this with confidence. I'm making progress every day.
Now say, I'm working on improving my English.
Excellent. And honestly, you really are making progress. Every minute you listen, repeating, and practicing builds stronger fluency.
Before we wrap up, one last useful phrase that English speakers use constantly is, I appreciate that. It's polite and meaningful, and it shows gratitude in a natural way.
You can use it at work, with friends, with family, anywhere.
It's one of those phrases that instantly makes your communication warmer.
Listener, repeat this. I appreciate that.
Perfect. And truly, we appreciate you for staying with us through this whole practice session. Your dedication means a lot.
If you enjoyed this interactive lesson and want to keep improving your English every single day, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content.
Thanks for listening, and see you in the next episode. Subscribe for more content, and bye.